Okay, Shalom. We're going to, as always, go into Colossians 3:17. Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. That's how we give thanks to the Most High, by Him, by Mashiach Yahushai, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. And saying, whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Mashiach Yahushai told us that's how we're supposed to operate in John 14 and 13. He just gives us understanding what the Mashiach Yahushai told us. In John 14:13, he said, and whatsoever you shall ask in my name, which is by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, in the name of the Lord and Savior, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son, that the Most High can be glorified in the Mashiach Yahushai. If you shall ask anything in my name, in the name of the Lord and Savior, I will do it. If you love me, keep my commandments, he said. Do what I say do. For Ephesians 5:20, so that's why we say everything in the name of the Lord and Savior. Because he told us, before you go to Ephesians, hold that in John 14:6. It says, Mashiach Yahushai said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He's the way to show us how to follow the truth, which is the laws of the Most High when you read Psalms 119, 142. And the life, that's going to lead to everlasting life. Say, no man cometh unto the Father but by me. So this is nothing new, because when he's saying these words, they only had the law and the prophets to open up to even look at. Point blank, you see. So he's giving them an understanding of how we operated as a people before the New Testament was even thought about to be written. So it says, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him. So how do we do that? Ephesians 5:20. This is the answer. Giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High and the Father, as we just seen in Colossians 3:17, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, in the name of the Lord and Savior, in the name of our power of Mashiach Yahushai. Okay? So, and that's how we reach the throne of the Most High, so He can look down upon us and fulfill the things that we ask for before we have all the classes in prayer. So let's look at Numbers, the 10th chapter and the 10th verse. Numbers 10 and 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months. So this day is the beginning of our months. Not Esau's month, but our months, starting today. And that's how we count the holy days from the new moon. This beginning, the first day of our month, on the new moon, which is right now, this evening. Ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for memorial before your power. I am the Most High, your power. So now, we know that Mashiach Yahushai was the ultimate sacrifice. He was the Lamb of the Most High that sacrificed His life for we, the children of Israel. That's who He is. And that's what we have to look at in John, the 1st chapter and the 36th verse. And looking upon Mashiach Yahushai as He walked, He said, this is John, behold, the Lamb of the Most High. So He's a Lamb of the Most High that was sacrificed for we, the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. So now, we're not sacrificing animals anymore, so more or less, Romans 12:1, this is the sacrifice that we have to start and look at within ourselves as individuals to do. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, Romans 12:1, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service in doing what he wants us to do, following his rules and regulations, his laws, statutes, commandments. There's nothing but rules and regulations. And he told us in 1 John 5:3, but it's the love of the Most High that we keep his commandments. The commandments are not grievous. So we're supposed to feel bad about doing what's right in his eyes. This is what works. So let's go to Psalms, the 81st chapter. Psalm 81:1. Sing aloud unto the Most High, our strength. And these are songs, comforting songs that King David wrote with, as you say, to the chief musician upon Gittith, a song of Asaph. So it would be beautiful. We have the music to these songs. Can you imagine that? We can make up our own, but to have the original music that was actually orchestrated for these songs. These songs are songs. They're being sung. It says, sing aloud unto the Most High our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the Most High, power of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the present harp with the psaltery. These are musical instruments. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. See, the new moon is the first day of the month, and it's a solemn feast day. That we're supposed to gather ourselves together. That's a holy convocation, meaning a holy gathering. For this was a statute for Israel. You see, it was a statute for Israel, not for everybody, but for Israel. Not all nations, but for Israel. And a law of the Most High of Jacob. So it's a law that we do this feast. One way or another, we got to try and come together as, like we doing things that the Mashiach HaShai did, we greater things, but we can go. We can have these things, we can go all over the world. They can have it all in the world, and we can actually, see each other. You can hear each other, speak back and forth. These are the things you got to look at that we're doing right now. Verse 4. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Most High of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony. Remember, Joseph was in the land of Ham, which is so-called Africa. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt. Listen what it says. For all you Egyptologists, where I heard a language that I understood not. See, I went through Egypt. I don't understand that language. So when you learn whatever language you learn, of the Egyptians, most I said, what? I heard a language that I understood not. He didn't understand your language. So it's very important that we look at just a law that was ordained. When Joseph was in Egypt, if you understand our story, Joseph was right under the Pharaoh, and once the first Pharaoh died, then Joseph became in charge. Approximately like the 14th to the 18th dynasty, we were ruling as the Israelites. They call us shepherd kings, but we were the rulers of Egypt. That's why when you look at John 14:15, the Mashiach HaShai said, if you love me, keep my commandments. It's a law. And look at Proverbs 3:1. Say, my son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. This is what it brings. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. See? That's why I say, you love me, keep my commandments. Luke 6:46. Luke 6:46. And why call ye me Mashiach, Yahushua, Mashiach, Yahushua, and do not the things which I say? He said, how you calling on me and you don't even do what I say? I'm giving you instructions, but you want to do your own thing. You want to do it your own way. He said, why you calling on me? I mean, you hear what he's saying? And we can't get to the Most High if we go through him. He said, no man comes to the Father but by me. And he said, why you calling on me? Mashiach, Mashiach. And do not the things which I say. See? He said, whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. The ones that's following the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Following what the Mashiach Yahushua is saying. His sheep that hear his voice. Everybody don't hear his voice. Verse 48. He is like a man which built an house and dig deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, flood came. Remember, this house was built upon a rock. That's the foundation it's built upon. A stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth, right on the dirt, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great. And you know, if you ain't built upon this foundation, the main foundation we're supposed to be built upon is Mashiach Yahushua. So we are Mashiachim. So if you build your foundation upon him, you can't go wrong. He's that rock. I'll tell you that in 1 Corinthians 10:4. First Corinthians 10:4. And did all eat, drink the same spiritual drink in the wilderness, we the children of Israel. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Mashiach. See? That rock was a Mashiach Yahushua. Psalm 78:15. He clave the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua in their heart by asking meat for his lust. Yeah, they spake against the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua. They said, can the Most High furnish a table in the wilderness? Wicked Israelites. Trying to tempt the Mashiach Yahushua. Behold, He smote the rock that the waters gushed out and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? He gave them water. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore the Most High Mashiach heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob. And anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in the Most High Mashiach Yahushua and trusted not in his salvation of Mashiach Yahushua. When you go back to 1 Corinthians 10, go back to 1 Corinthians 10, verse 4, letting us know that was a Mashiach Yahushua, who was that rock, spiritual rock, I might say, that followed us in the wilderness as an angel. And look at verse 5. It said, but with many of them, when we the children of Israel, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Remember, he killed everybody in the wilderness, but Joshua and Caleb, the only adults he left. No women, no adult women, just Joshua and Caleb and the children that we had. Now these things were our examples. These things were done as our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. See, we got to recognize the evil. That's why I say be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. You know, maintain your humility. But still be wise in knowing what the things that's going on, what these serpents are doing. These snakes, what the devil's doing, knowing the wiles of the devil, and Satan and all of them. Esau, all of them, know what they're doing. Be wise as serpents, but harmless as a dove. That's why he said the children of the world are wiser than the children of light. So you can't let the children of the world be wiser than you. You know, you got to look at what is being said, so you make sure that you look at what's going on, so you be just as wise as them. You will be. He showed you be wise as serpents. Then you're going to say the children of the world are wiser than who do you think the children of the world dealing with? Serpents, the devil, Satan, his spirit. That's why he's saying they're wiser than you, because they kept to everything that's going on, and you sitting around being over righteous and don't know nothing. Dang on L7 somewhere, sitting in your own little bubble somewhere. When they out there knowing everything that's happening to be able to make moves and do things, and we sitting around, you sit around coming to the truth, and you're not just not a religion. It's just a way of life. You still got to deal with everything that's going on. See, that's why I say don't be like them. They lust after evil things. You know, you see the evil, but you don't go into the evil. But you got to know it. That's why I say be wise as serpents. Be wise as them that's doing evil. So you don't fall into being ignorant as the children of light. We're supposed to be shining bright, illuminating for the knowledge, wisdom, understanding we're supposed to have. Just a moment. Okay. 1 Corinthians 10 and 6. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play, being evil, doing evil things. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000, killed 23,000 in one day. Neither let us tempt Mashiach. We're talking about in the wilderness. Here Mashiach Yahushua, where in the wilderness? As that spiritual rock we read about in verse 4. Neither let us tempt Hamashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. He had fiery serpents eat them up. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. So he's called the destroyer. So when he come back and judge and make war, he already known as the destroyer. That's why I said, you gotta hear what it's saying. Verse 6, now these things were our examples. I mean, we looking at all the Bible and the things that happen as our examples. To the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. You don't want to do that. So going back to Psalms 81. In 4, it says, for this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Most High power of Jacob. This new moon is a law. This he ordained in Joseph for testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where he heard a language that he understood not. So he went through Egypt and heard a language he didn't even understand. So whenever they say whatever they say, most of us say, I don't understand what they're saying. That just shows you how insignificant he brings it. Look at Psalms 114 and 1. It says, when Israel went out of Egypt, the house of Jacob, from a people of a strange language. See? A people of a strange language. Like the most of us say here, the language he didn't even understand. So you look at we were operating under the law. This law was ordained in Egypt under Joseph. So how could we follow our laws as we would if we was in captivity? No, we wasn't. Look at go to Exodus, the first chapter. And look at verse 7. Exodus 1 and 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied. I mean, we had a lot of children. We multiplied. We're in the land of Egypt. And waxed exceeding mighty. That's what I want you to hear. We waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them. See? We was mighty. Because we was ruling for 4 dynasties. That's when Egypt was great. Then it says, now there arose a new king over Egypt which knew not Joseph. Let's see, Ramses II, he didn't know Joseph. But these many years after we were ruling, started ruling. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Can we say that about our captivity now? No. We were more and mightier than them because we were ruling in Egypt. Some say shepherd kings, you see. You what he said? More and mightier than them. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Let's get them out of our land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom, and Ramses. We built these treasure cities. We built the Sphinx, we built all of that. Pyramids, all of that. We had that knowledge. That's why you see the same pyramids right over here in America. They got the same pyramids in China, Japan, all the different places. Europe, all over. Because we scattered among those lands, and we knew the technology of how to do these things. Even right here in California, you go up I-5, you see what they call Pyramid Lake. You see a big pyramid coming out of the lake. It's right there. Verse 12, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied, the more children and grew. More children we was having. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. The Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, hard bondage. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, see, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor, hard bondage, see. And that's like the last, I think we ruled 350 years, in the last 90 years we were in captivity, slavery and bondage under the Egyptians. So you see, let me show you, we had laws, but we had laws before we went into Egypt. That's why we went into captivity. Mingled among the heathen and learned their works. He said, learn not to wear the heathen. That's what we did. Famous for it, right? This ain't nothing new. Look at Genesis, the 4th chapter. Just to show you we had the laws in the beginning. Well, really, if you go to Genesis, the 1st chapter, and once the Most High created everything, you look at Genesis, the 1st chapter, Genesis 26, 1st chapter, verse 26. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. See? That was giving us the dietary laws, what we can eat and what we can't eat, and how we're going to have dominion over everything. Giving us these laws to please the Most High. So the Most High created man in his own image. I think the Most High made us in his own image, and we're going to be doing things that's wicked. If he made us in our own image, he showed us the laws. In the image of the Most High created he him. Male and female created he them. Men and women. You know, in his image, to show them what? How to please him. He said he made us, and then he gonna say, oh, go over there and do whatever you want to do. No, he gave us the laws. And the Most High blessed them, and Most High said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. See? This is what he done for us. That's why he says in the Apocrypha, let's see, let me find something. Bear with me. I'm just. Okay, look at Second Ezra's 7. Second Ezra 7 and let's look right here on concerning Adam, verse 48, 7 and 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. See, we all come from Adam. So what you done, Adam? For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, meaning to be able to live forever, whereas we have done the works that bring death? And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain? And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety. This is the kingdom that's prepared for us already. Whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defeat them which have led a weary life. Whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all. You see how Ezra saying we, for all you high-minded, holy rollers, holier than thou people. He's including himself. Even though he's a righteous man, this is what works. But it started out with Adam, and we just read. He was given immortality. but we're working to get back to. See, this is what happened. Then you look at go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus. That's Adam. Now let's deal with his mate, Eve. Ecclesiastes 25 and verse 24 in the Apocrypha. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. So, what is sin? It says, through the woman came the beginning of sin. Just show you that we had the laws, we had rules and regulations. 1 John 3 and 4. First John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So, sin being the transgression of the law is telling you here, oh, the woman came the beginning of sin. And through her we all die. Through the woman. So give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad, to do whatever she want to do. If she go not as thou wouldst have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go. So if she don't want to follow what you say cut her off from thy flesh, or you become one in the flesh. Give her a bill of divorce and let her go. So, showing you here, we died because of what he did. I mean, she knew better, but she wanted that power. Look at Genesis, 3rd chapter. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High Power had made. The serpent. And he said unto the woman, he come to the man, he came to the woman. That's why, yeah, he said, yeah. Probably real cool, yeah. Had the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, in her ear. And see, she ain't supposed to be talking to him, point blank. She ain't supposed to be dealing with him. But here she is, dealing with Satan. And see, she knew the law. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat, so you know that she know the law. We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Most High Mashiach said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Oh, the woman came to the beginning of sin. Here it is, right here. Sin is transgression of the laws. So they had the laws. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. That's the first lie ever told. That's the first lie right there. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. What did she say? Most I have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die, in verse 3. Told her she gonna die. Adam knew too. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods. You're going to be as powers. Because God just means power. But you're going to be like the powers. You're going to be like all the gods. Knowing good and evil. See? All we need to know is what's good. The Most High is good. And we know the law is good. So, all we need to know what's good. We don't need to know anything about good and evil. All we need to do is eat of the tree of righteousness. The tree of life. You see? But nah. Here it is. So you're gonna have powers. You're gonna be as gods to the woman. That's why you women gotta look at this and really observe and don't get caught up in power. Well, all this power, because that's something new. That's nothing that's of ancient. Some of you old enough to know your mama and daddy had a certain way that they rolled, and it wasn't like they rolling now. Point blank. It's nothing like it is now. No way, shape, or form. Nothing like this. But, people, they love to have it so, thinking that this is the way it's supposed to be. It's not necessarily the way it was set up. As we're going all the way back to the beginning. And seeing that there's, commandments that the Most High gave, and he wanted us to follow. See verse 3 of Genesis 3rd chapter. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And Satan told the first lie, he said, verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For the Most High does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods. You're going to be as powers. You're going to get to all this power, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, for her to take in, this wickedness, this evil, and this good combined, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, it looked good, and a tree to be desired, to make one wise. I'm going to be smarter than Adam. I'm going to be smart. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. See? And it tells you in the New Testament concerning this act. First Timothy. The second chapter. We start at verse 9. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Modest apparel. Not all highlighted and so forth. With shamefacedness, that's humility. And sobriety, not getting drunk or getting high for sure. Being focused. not with braided hair. Hear that, women? Not with braided hair. That's what it says. Or gold, or pearls, or costly array, costly garments, like they do today, but which becometh women professing righteousness with good works, following the laws of the Most High. Say, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. So we're supposed to be quiet and be subject to the man. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. She's supposed to be trying to dominate a man. Listen, he tells you that. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, not Wisdom of Solomon, but Ecclesiasticus 25 and verse 22. If a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, unwise, and much reproach, disgrace. See? A wicked woman just abated the courage to tear a man down. Making a heavy countenance, bringing sadness upon the man. And a wounded heart, a wounded mind. Sad all the time. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. See? Once again, of the woman came the beginning of sin. We just reading about it. And through her we all die. We die because of a woman. So that's a woman that try and maintain her husband. She's full of what? Anger, impudence, unwise, and much reproach, disgrace. Going back to 1 Timothy 2:13, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived. We just read we read the story. Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if, this condition, they continue in faith, in charity, love, in holiness with sobriety. He's serious about that, being focused. You're not dealing with those spirits. Drinking, that's what they call alcohol, spirits. You can drink, but you gotta drink in moderation. You gotta be focused. Because there's a lot that, a woman has to do. She have a big job too when you read Virtuous Woman. It's a big job that a woman has to do, whereas, nowadays it's like, you can't even really look at who can find a virtuous woman. Her price is less rubies. Because the whole world is changed. It's not the same as it was in the time past. So there you see Adam and Eve. They had rules and regulations. She just said it. So let's go to Genesis, the 4th chapter. In verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived, meaning she got pregnant, and bare Cain, their first son, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep. See? Abel was a keeper of sheep. But Cain was a tiller of the ground. So Cain was a farmer. But Abel was a keeper of sheep. Listen. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Most High. You hear that? An offering unto the Most High. The fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Most High. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, of the fat thereof. That's the part, the fat thereof is like the fat off the meat, the kidneys, the bladder, the liver, the heart, the parts of the animal that we don't eat for the sacrifice that the Most High loves, which is a blood sacrifice. This is what it is. Or else what do you bring the fat thereof for? And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Because he's offering it up to the Most High. The Most High respect, because no remission of sin without the shedding of blood. It says, from the beginning. This is nothing new. And this is what the priest did. Once we went into the wilderness, most High had Moses started giving us the law, then this is what they were doing. So, you see here, Cain brought some fruit of the ground. Abel brought the first thing of the sheep, as the Most High told us, reminded us when we came out of Egypt. Remember, we had to just like now, we got to be reprogrammed over and over and over again. Why? Because we learned the way of the heathen. Amongst them heathen and forgot all about what we're supposed to be doing. Genesis 4:4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, and of the fat thereof, and the Most High had respect unto